What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Vosteed Knives RSKAOS. So this is in, excuse my text message on my computer, this is in via the Lefty EDC passaround group, and it is part of a package with two more Vosteed top liner lock models, the Raccoon and the Hedgehog. If you guys have not caught the last two videos I've posted, it has been a full review of this and kind of an overview of this because I've already done a full review on multiple Raccoons before. But I'm really liking all three of the models, and the RSKAOS is definitely a beast of a knife. I believe this is the first rendition of the top liner lock, in a model being used by Vosteed. This is a collaboration with RS Knives, or excuse me, RS Knife Works, who is Rob Sienkiewicz. I believe he makes custom stuff, and this is a spin-off of his, direct, I guess, direct model of his custom work. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, it's normally he does frame locks, but I believe it's the same version that he same design, same version that he does custom, but now in a production knife. There's four different variations of it. So there is this variation with a sheep's foot style blade, and then there are the same variation but just a Wharncliffe, and then there's two plain tie versions with also a sheep's foot and a Wharncliffe style blade. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the review. Pretty wicked looking knife here. I love on the titanium scales this milling on both sides. Just adds a really cool sort of aesthetic to it, and also helps in the ergonomic department as well. Then it matches down there on the blade. So you have a blackened titanium frame, backspacer with gold hardware, a titanium milled clip, hole for deployment, flipper for deployment. Again, this is the sheep's foot M390 blade. There is RS Knives logo, M390. Beautiful choil, Vosteed. Just a very, very menacing looking knife. I'm a big fan of how it looks. You guys can see right there the top liner lock, which essentially works like a button lock, but actuates like a compression lock. As for internal milling, there are two pockets on the show scale. No, sorry, three pockets on the show scale side and two pockets, excuse me, on the pocket clip side. Some quick specs for you guys. All right, so overall length from tip to butt is 8.24 inches. You have a blade length of 3.3 inches, blade width of 1.24 inches, blade thickness of 0.16 inches. It's a compound grind. Very, very thin behind the edge. And then it comes in weighing 5.5 ounces, and it definitely, you definitely can say that I definitely think it feels heavy, or it feels all of that 5.5 ounces, but it does not feel heavy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It just feels substantial. And there's a difference with knives that are heavy that feel pocket weighty heavy, or on this hand like substantial in your hand, like you can't break it, like you can't it's gonna take the abuse you're gonna throw at it, and that's what I get from here. From the RSKAOS. So 5.5 ounces. As far as materials go, Easy 5 M390 blade steel, titanium, very cool locking mechanism, milled titanium clip. What is there not to like about this knife right away? So 5 out of 5 on the materials. Next up is aesthetic, and I am a big fan of this. Like I said earlier, I think this knife looks fantastic. I love a good sheep's foot style blade. Nice big belly, comes down to a nice tip as well. You have a choil. You have pretty much a straight line the whole way across here till it tapers off a little bit. Then it tapers down here, tapers in here. Nice thin handle. The milled clip works, I shouldn't say works pretty well. Not that it works bad, but we'll touch on that later with carryability. But aesthetically, I think it looks good. I think I really like the burnt bronze / gold and how it kind of spins off of the black. you know, I think this is a beautiful looking knife, and I've always thought that, you know, when this has come out, I feel like this has been out for a couple months now, maybe half a year or so. And I've always thought it's been a really, really good looking knife. So as far as aesthetics are concerned, 5 out of 5. Next up is the Action. Now, similar to the Raccoon with the top liner lock, this has a really, really good detent. The Hedgehog had a good detent, but I feel like the Raccoon and the RSKAOS have just really, really, really good detents. You guys can hear popping out of there. Middle finger flick works fantastic with this hole. You just get a nice little leverage. It pops right out of there. You can, of course, thumb flick it. You guys can hear, I mean, it's just resounding out of there. Flipper works really well. It's a very minimalistic flipper, which I like. You have jimping on the front right there. Doesn't come around, which I would have preferred. I love when jimping starts from the bottom, comes up around, and then ends, you know, back in here. I honestly wouldn't care if the whole thing was jimped. Just adds for a little bit extra, you know, grippage when you're flipping it. But I mean, you guys can see, I'm trying to feel the knife. And I mean, you can, but it definitely takes a lot more like thought process behind it, where if you just pull it out, you know, bang it open with the flipper tab, it's gonna do it every single time. Very, very responsive. Again, thumb flick works really well. Middle finger flick, reverse flick also works phenomenal. You can use the top liner lock, the button, to do this. And then of course you can slow roll it. Now when you close it, when you disengage, right in there, you guys can see it is pushing the liner over. So when you disengage it, you just get, I mean, just a guillotine, just a free dropper. And this thing has no blade play. The fit and finish, the tolerances on not only this, but this reminds me of the Vosteed Dachshund, which is currently the only perfect knife that I've reviewed so far in 2024. It's the only one. Others have come really close, but it's the only 35 out of 35 that I've reviewed so far this year. And it, as well as the RSKAOS, are, I believe, the only 200 plus, like the premium folders from Vosteed that I've handled. I have yet to handle the Sight Pop, which I'm excited to, you know, handle here soon whenever I get it in from the passaround group. But the fit and finish that you get on their premium models is just so, so good. Second to none. This just feels really, really good. And the action is just dialed on both. And, you know, you're getting, you know, basically bank vault lockup with that drop. You guys can already guess what I'm going to give this, but an easy 5 out of 5 on the action. Next up is the acoustics. Very, very good. Just missing that high-pitched ringingness. You know, it's you get there sometimes when you get a nice thwack. But yeah, I mean, it's good, really, really good, but can't give it a 5 because it doesn't have those high-pitched tangs. So 4.5, breaking the streak of the 5s, so therefore not going to be perfect. But next up is Ergos. This thing is super duper comfortable. Like I talked about earlier, with these really cool milling patterns on both the blade and the handle, and how I like them from an aesthetic standpoint, they also work really well and help out quite a bit in the ergo department. So when you're wrapped up here, I can get all 4 fingers on the knife very, very easily. It's a big knife. You can probably put another finger or 2 back there if you wanted, but your fingers kind of land right on the milling lines, which is really good and adds just an extra bit of grip for you. Your thumb can either land right here, can land out a little bit farther, or land right on the smack dab middle of the milling lines. So it acts as jimping too, because it's milled on both sides. So it acts as jimping, which is really nice. Very, very comfortable. The titanium is chamfered in all the right areas, rounded off, no sharp edges. The pot clip is a milled titanium clip, so it's going to sit pretty flush to the scales, not cause much of a hot spot. I will say the point right here isn't sharp, but definitely if you could catch yourself on it the wrong way, might, you know, be a little bit more uncomfortable. Luckily, choked back, I don't feel it at all. Choked up, I don't feel it, so that is good from an ergonomic standpoint. Excuse me. Choked up, so you have this really nice choil up here, middle fingers follow suit. And I love knives that just are, I mean, this is a nice thin handle. just very, very neutral, very, very comfortable to hold on to. Then when you choke up, your, 3 fingers falls, land back in here. Your pointer finger wraps around the choil, and then your thumb lands out here, which gives you just maximum grippage for push cuts, for, slicing through things, very, very slowly, something you have to be really careful with. Pinch grip works really good, especially with the sheep's foot blade. You just drop that tip down in there and do whatever you need to do with it. Just be careful you're not disengaging the lock for the knife. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's very, very comfortable. I love, again, how you get both aesthetic, pleasing looks from the milling, as well as comfortability and, adding that extra grip for the ergo department. So back on the 5 train, 5 out of 5 for the ergos. Very, very comfortable knife, and just really, it's a big knife, so it's going to be very, very comfortable for a lot of different hands, small, big, really big. It's just, accommodating to really whatever hands pick this knife up, which is really, really nice. So next up is carry. Like I said earlier, the milled titanium clip looks good from an aesthetic standpoint, but I am not the biggest fan of how this knife carries, because you have about that much of the knife sticking out of your pocket, which in my opinion is too much. If you're going to do a milled clip, I would have maybe preferred a single clip, which would have gotten a little bit lower, but I just don't like having that much stick up out of my pocket. You guys know I tend to gravitate more towards, loop over style deep carry clips. Or I love when they take milled titanium clips and turn them into a loop over style clip. I just got the Tempest Knives Fractus in, and I think that this might be one of my favorite clips of all time, because it looks like a milled clip and it functions like a milled clip, but look how thin and look how much clearance you have, guys. Yeah, KC Design, honestly, one of my, probably a top 2 or 3 paw clip for me all time. Fantastic, and I wish more companies would do things like that. And this functions fine. I mean, it goes in a pocket decent. Like, it doesn't cause any issues that way. I just don't like how much a knife sticking about in my pocket. And again, it is 5.5 ounces, so it feels, and like I said earlier, it's not heavy, but it's also not light. I feel like it feels less heavy in hand when you're using it, because you're getting that substantial, like, man, this thing, I can throw anything at it, it's going to handle it. But then on the flip side, when you're carrying it in your pocket, that's where you get, a little bit more of that heaviness, of that, like, kind of like, oh, wow, I got a knife in my pocket. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not the end of the world. It's just me being nitpicky and me giving you my honest opinions for it. But it sits down in your pocket. You do have the flipper tab down here, but the jumping isn't overly aggressive, but you do have a slight risk of, when you go down underneath your knife to grab change, chapstick, AirPods, whatever might be floating underneath it. When you go to pull your hand up out of there, there is a slight risk of possibly catching, on your hand or whatever, maybe a watch that you're wearing, a ring that you're wearing, and pulling this knife up out of your pocket. But I didn't have any issues with it. Carried it primarily in shorts. I think I carried it in gym shorts once around the apartment. Wasn't a big fan because it was just, decently heavy. So I'm not going to say carry's bad. I just don't think carry is great, and I really didn't love my experience with it. So for that, I'm going to give it a 4. But, that kind of sucks, because it's such a good knife, and I don't love rating, having the overall rating of the knife come down because of a few, kind of mediocre points about it. But that's just it. It is what it is, and that's what I do this for, is try to figure out why I don't like the knife, and what I don't like about the knife, I should say. I don't dislike this knife. I really like it. It's just certain things about it. So, which I know everyone out there in the knife world can attest to. There's just knives that you love so many things about, but then there's like things that are like, no, that's stupid. You don't like it. But that leads me to my final category of price point / value / would I recommend this knife. The price point on the RSKAOS on the Vosteed's website, which again, I will leave linked to down below if you guys are interested. It looks like all of them are in stock, but the price is coming in at $249, which seems a little bit high for Vosteed, because they're so based in like that 50-ish to like 130, 140 range, maybe 150. We'll say 50 to 150 in that range. So whenever they have premium models like this and the Dachshund and the Sight Pop come out that are 200 plus, it kind of makes you like go like, oh, whoa, like Vosteed, are they really charging that much? But I think $250 for this is a really, really good deal. It's a good value. I would think that this would be a good value up to $300, $325. I could easily see that much being charged for this knife. And if you can get it on, White Mountain Knives, possibly if they're in stock, you can save some money there. Sometimes Vosteed does sales themselves on their website. So I do think it's a good value. I think, I definitely thought the Dachshund was a great value. I think this is a great value, and I'm probably going to think the Cypop is also a great value because I think it comes in around $250 too. So for what you're getting, I think a 5 is very, very applicable here because, again, you're getting full titanium knife, or a full titanium knife, mill titanium pot clip, flipper tab, hole for deployment, great detent, and you're getting a new and innovative lock in the top liner lock, and it works very, very well. Fit and finish, like I said multiple times, is top notch. The tolerances are really dialed in. Like, this seems like it's a $300+ knife and it's $250. So great value. I can recommend this every single day. It's not my favorite knife from Vosteed, but it's really, really good, and it's definitely up there for one of the better ones I've checked out from them. So let me count up real quick and see what we got. Yeah, guys. So this is, wait, hold on. My math is not mathing real quick. All right, so after some quick revisions to my head math, it is coming in at a rating of 33.4, which again lands it right in that fantastic category, joining the aluminum raccoon, the Ankylo, the Thornton, the Taloris, and now the, what did I just review? The Hedgehog. So that's like 6 knives in there that are just fantastic. And I definitely think that this is very, very good. Not top spot worthy because I definitely prefer the Dachshund over it. But I really, really enjoyed getting to carry this and getting to, review it for you guys. Because this, like I said, was, I believe, the first knife from Vosteed to come out with a top liner lock. So it's been around for a little bit of time, and I've just been anxious to get my hands on it. And yeah, huge shout out to Kevin over at Lefty EDC for always letting us check out dope stuff. Love you, Kev. And I love you guys too. So, but that was my full review of the Vosteed Knives RSKAOS. Just had a brain fart there for a second. But leave a comment down below. Did you guys pick up one of these when they first came out? Are you maybe wanting to get one soon? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, day, whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.